So let's talk about this incredible cosmic story that's woven all through Scripture. It's really the journey of the soul trying to get back to a lost state of purity, a state symbolized as a robe of righteousness. And believe me, this story starts right at the very beginning of everything.
Our whole journey kicks off with this really foundational idea from Scripture that all of us, all of humanity, we come from a single source, one single soul. We all share this common origin, this state of, perfect unity.
And that, right there, raises the huge question we're digging into today. I mean, if we all started as one, what happened? What introduced the very first conflict? How did that first tear appear in the fabric of creation?
Okay, let's dive into it. The first great test, well, it didn't even happen on Earth. It was this cosmic event that basically set up a fundamental duality in all of creation. A choice was put on the table, and it set the stage for literally everything that came after. You see, from the very beginning, creation was defined by these pairs, these opposites. On one side, you've got submission. Think angels, born of light. That's the pure spirit, the ruh. And on the other side, you've got pride. That's Iblis, born of fire, the ego, the nafs. This isn't just a simple good versus evil thing. It's about two core ways of being, obedience versus arrogance.
And this verse, this is the flashpoint. This is the exact moment the conflict ignited. The command comes down, bow to Adam. The angels in complete submission, they do it. But Iblis, totally driven by the pride of his fiery nature, refuses. And what was his mistake? He could only see the clay, the outer form, and he completely missed the divine breath inside. That single act of arrogance kicked off a whole cosmic cycle of trial and struggle.
And that one act of pride, wow, it had immediate, massive consequences. It led directly to the loss of this innate purity, this kind of spiritual covering of light that was humanity's birthright. So after listening to the whisperings of Shaitan, Adam's state of purity, this symbolic robe of righteousness, was stripped away, gone. And suddenly, their nakedness, their vulnerability, it's all exposed. This moment right here introduced the central trial for all of us, the struggle of the nafs, our own ego, against those deceptive whispers of pride, a struggle that we all inherited.
And you can see this conflict ripple out immediately, right into the human family. In the story of Adam's two sons, one son's sacrifice is accepted. Why? Because it came from a place of pure submission. The other's was rejected. And why was that? Because it was driven by pride and envy. That rejection, totally fueled by the nafs, led straight to the very first murder on Earth.
So, the big question is, if this robe was lost, how do you get it back? Is there a path to restoration? Well, yeah. The source material lays out a kind of spiritual roadmap, a journey that's shown through the lives of key figures who basically show us the way back to that state of purity.
All right, step one on this path back, sacrifice. And we're not just talking about a physical act here. This is a spiritual one. It's that moment where the ego, the nefs, has to be humbled for the sake of a higher truth. And the source presents Yahya, or John the Baptist, as the perfect example of this kind of purification through sacrifice. So after that purification, the soul is now open. It's ready to receive divine light. We see this so clearly with Musa, or Moses. After he confronts the ultimate symbol of worldly pride, Pharaoh, he's given the law and this miraculous passage through the sea. It's a trial that leads directly to salvation and divine guidance.
The next stage is crucial. You can't just receive that divine light, you have to live it. You have to embody it, become a living sign of it. And this is represented by Isa, or Jesus, who is actually called a word from God. He embodies that pure state of spirit, the ruh, made visible in the world.
And finally, we get to the last step, where the path is completed and sealed for all time. The Prophet Muhammad receives the final revelation, the Quran, which pulls together all the previous stages, sacrifice, submission, purity, and molds them into one complete path that shows every single one of us how to weave this robe of righteousness in our own lives.
So what's so important to get here is that this isn't just a history lesson, right? This isn't just a sequence of events. It's a living, breathing blueprint for the soul. Each of these prophets embodies a critical stage in the journey from that fallen self back to the purified spirit.
Just look at how this table lays it all out for us. The journey begins with Yahya's sacrifice of the ego. Then it moves to Musa's submission to divine law, even when staring down ultimate pride. It finds its inner reality in Isa's purity. And finally, it's made into a universal path for everyone through Muhammad's completion of the message.
So really, this whole journey is an inner dialogue, a struggle, even, between these two parts of ourselves. You have the ruh, the spirit, which is that divine breath inside us, our connection to truth. And then you have the nafs, the self, which is our ego. That's the part that's subject to the trial, the part that's pulled towards pride and desire. The whole goal is to purify the nafs until it starts to reflect the light of the ruh.
Okay, so this brings everything right into the here and now. Why does any of this ancient pattern matter to us today? Because the final trial, well, it's not something stuck in a history book. It's personal, and it's happening right now, both inside of us and all around us.
So let me ask you straight up. Where is the Pharaoh today? Is it some external tyrant or a political system? Or is the real battlefield maybe a little bit closer to home?
The source material suggests the final and greatest Pharaoh is an internal one. It's the force of our own pride, the part of our nafs that, just like this verse says, follows nothing but conjecture, just our own assumptions and desires, instead of surrendering to divine truth. That is the ultimate tyrant we each have to face.
And so, here we are, facing the exact same choice that was presented in the very beginning. Are we going to chase the fleeting illusions offered by the ego, or are we going to take on that journey to purify our hearts and weave that eternal robe of righteousness? The sources are crystal clear. The robe of eternity is never, ever exchanged for the illusion of life.